The Last of Us Season 1 was one of the best, if not the best, game adaptations ever. Even with lots of changes, it was pretty lore accurate. Some of the changes from the source material worked and some didn't. For example, the character development and backstories for minor characters like Anna, Bill, Frank, and Marlene were excellent. The world building was amazing too. I liked the new places and scenes that were introduced in the show. I especially liked the scene that showed us how Ellie became immune to the cordyceps infection, but they did skip a lot of cool action scenes involving the infected. I really wish there was some flamethrower action in the show like there was in the game. It looks like we'll get some of that in Season 2. I'm looking forward to it. And ditching spores was a bad idea. More on that later. The Last of Us Season 2 is going to cover only a portion of the second game, The Last of Us Part 2. They decided to break up Part 2 into multiple seasons, and I think that's a great idea. As of April 2025, there are only 2 games, but I do think there will be one final game eventually. I don't expect it to come out anytime soon though. The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2 are very different games, and I expect the show to reflect that. The main themes of the first game are dealing with loss and grief, building bonds and finding purpose through them, and finding hope in the most desperate of situations. Whereas the main themes of Part 2 are the cycle of revenge, breaking the cycle of revenge, empathy, forgiveness, and healing. Season 2 picks up 5 years after Season 1, just like the time lapse between the first and the second game. Season 2 is centered around Ellie, just like Part 2. This season, and however many more seasons they use to adapt Part 2, is going to be intense, heartbreaking, and action-packed. It's going to cover the complexities of relationships, choices made in the past, and the consequences of revenge. A world where survival may mean compromising one's own values and making choices that harm others is bound to be full of violence. It's also going to show us how violence and revenge are destructive forces and how it affects one's own identity, but through perspective, empathy, and compassion, the cycle of revenge can be broken. I was concerned about how there was no spores in the first season, even though it's a major plot point in the second game. However, Neil Druckmann, the creative director that gave us the Last of Us games, and Craig Mazin, the showrunner for the Last of Us show, spoke about the idea of an evolution taking place over the course of the story's timeline, both for characters and the outside world, and they felt they came up with a good story reason to introduce spores in Season 2. And I did see spores in one of the trailers, so that's one concern taken care of. However, my biggest concern is the structure of the story. In Part 2, there was a large portion of the game where we had to play as a new character, and we're introduced to more new characters through that character. For the audience to care about them, the show has to give us more backstories and character development than the game. Season 1 showed us that the writers are capable of that. My anticipation rating is 10 out of 10. This is one of the 2 shows I'm looking forward to most in 2025. The trailers hit all the right spots for me, and I'm expecting a strong 9.5 out of 10 season, just like the first season. I expect the season to be polarizing, and some people may even stop watching after this season, but in my opinion, it's a truly amazing story, and it's worth seeing it through.